Namaste. The divine in me bows down to the divine in you. So what is this divinity that is within all of us, that is in me, that is in you, and that I am bowing down to in you, and that you are acknowledging in me? Do we walk around as divine beings? Do we feel like we're divine as we do our work day to day? What is this divinity that is in us, that we're meant to be, that we're meant to express on this earth? What is it? When you look at little kids running around, do you see the divinity in them? The brightness, the glow that they have? They're so alive, and for them it is all black and white. They are, they live. They're hungry, they eat. They're sleepy, they sleep. There is no gray area for them. They are, and they express, and they are divine. So what happens to us when we grow up? How do we lose that divinity? How do we lose that identity of us being divine? As we grow up, what enters into us is doubt. We doubt ourselves. Hatred. We start hating ourselves. We deny ourselves. We deny the divinity in us. We forget. We lose it. So let me share a little bit about my experience growing up and see if you can identify with that experience. So I grew up in a small city in Singapore with my sister, and my parents were wonderful, are wonderful. They taught us that we could do anything. Yes, we could. Even if we were girls, we could do anything that we wanted. We could achieve anything that we wanted. And I did. Through school, I did well. Through college, I did well. And then I got to my first job, and that's when the doubt started to enter, because the expectations of what needed to be done and where I was, I started to doubt myself. And then I had several experiences that started to make me think that I was not good enough, that I started to hate myself. So that's when I started to become less sure of myself, less divine, less happy, less secure in myself. And then I got married, added responsibility. I have kids, 2 of them, adding more responsibility. And I started to get overwhelmed. What was I doing? Was I doing it right? Confusion, conflict, anger, tiredness, all that started to enter. And that's when I met my guru, Sri Paramahamsa Nithyananda Swami. And that's when I realized that I am divine. He taught me about my divinity. He brought me back to my divinity. He reminded all of us that we are divine. We are the reflection of the divine. We are the reflection of what is omnipresent, what is consciousness all around us, the divinity. And he brought me back to my divinity. How? How did he do that? Living 4 simple truths and a technique called completion. So let me talk a little bit about the 4 truths that I learned to live in my life that's helping me bring me back to my divinity, bring me back to who I truly am, and let me express my divinity in every action that I do. Integrity, that's the first truth. That is, in my mind, the very first and very most important truth. Being integrated to me, to what I say, not only to the outside, not only to my family, my boss, my friends, but also what I say within me. That is very key to integrity. If I say to myself that I will do something, then I have to be integrated to it. If I say to myself that I have to be a certain way, then I have to be integrated to that. And you know what that does? That brings back trust in us. And when we trust ourselves, that is when the divinity, the confidence starts to show. That is when we bring ourselves back to divinity. And the same thing, when others start to trust us too, we become more divine in their eyes because we're solidifying that relationship that we have with them and with us. So integrity, very important to help us bring us back to who we are, to our divinity. Authenticity, continuously being authentic to who I am, and also continuously being authentic in my expansion, in my growth, in continuously doing more, taking on more, and being integrated to that too. You know, that is another key lesson that I learned, is about being me all the time, and being comfortable in being me. That is authenticity. And once I'm comfortable about who I am more easily able to grow, to expand, to take on more, to be more than I am right now, and to express divinity, possibilities, new things. So that is living authenticity. Third is a byproduct of integrity and authenticity, which is responsibility. I touched on it a little bit already, about how I was becoming overwhelmed with more and more responsibility earlier on, because I did not have that base of integrity and authenticity. But once I gained that base of integrity and authenticity, responsibility simply came, and I just grew on to it, into it. I did not feel overwhelmed. It just was a flow of life, doing more, taking on more, being more, and expressing myself that way, expressing my divinity that way. And finally, enriching, teaching what I'm doing today, sharing with you. That is also another aspect of divinity, is not only living within you and your boundaries, but expanding and helping others, bringing others up. That is another aspect of divinity. So, integrity, authenticity, responsibility, and enriching. Those are the 4 truths that are being taught by my guru, Paramahamsa Nithyananda, that I would like to invite you to also experience, invite you to also understand. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to put a link below here in my YouTube channel that you'll be able to listen from him more about these 4 concepts. Now, it sounds easy, right? As I say it, you know, to just do it, be integrated, be authentic, be responsible, be enriching all the time. But there is one key tool that you need to be able to do that, to be able to get over your self-doubt, your self-hatred, your self-denial, to then be able to live these truths. And that concept is called completion. Completion is being in awareness, identifying when you are not in those 4 truths, and then coming back to those 4 truths all the time. And in my next video, I'm going to talk a lot more about completion, because that is so key. But in my first video, I just wanted to introduce this concept to you, so that you understand where I'm coming from, and we will build on this in the next video. So if you want to live these truths, and if you want to experience being with the Master and understanding and learning from him, there's a great opportunity for you. This coming weekend, February 10th and 11th, Paramahamsa Nithyananda Swami, he will be conducting a class called Manifest Your Reality, where you will be taught different truths and the science of completion to help you manifest one reality in your life. And the time is going to be 7:30 Pacific on February 10th and February 11th, and ending around 10:30 to 11 Pacific time. You can calculate the time in your time zone. And if you want to know more about this, log on to nithyananda.org under programs to see the latest program that's going to be available to you. You can attend the class from the nearest center near you, all over the world. So it is easy, as Swamiji, as we call him, will be taking the class online in a two-way on a webcast. So I invite you to experience your divinity, to come back to your divinity, to understand your divinity, and to live like a divine being. Thank you. Namaste.